What is going on, guys? It is your host, Neil Villapiano, and welcome to another edition of Mofobo Network Presents here on YouTube, the best place where you can get the most up-to-date news and the most up-to-date topics in the wide world of sports. As always, we have a ton to discuss every week. We have a really interesting topic of discussion to go over, and today is certainly no exception. As today, since we are basically now really into the thick of things in the NFL season, I thought I'd bring up a topic that I think a lot of people have discussed. And, everybody has their own opinion, but I wanted to share mine here on Mofobo Never Presents. And today, we are going to be deciding who is, out of these two quarterbacks, the best quarterback talent in the National Football League today. And that is between Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs and Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. So we'll kind of do an overview of where their careers have gone. Obviously, both have had, very similar careers, but obviously one has been shorter than the others. But we have a bunch to get to. So without further ado, let's kick some Mofobo. So we'll start with the veteran, Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers has had a very, very interesting career, and only now I think a lot of people are starting to realize just how gifted of a quarterback Aaron Rodgers is. Not just, from the accolades that he has, but actually the physical talent that he brings to the football field every single day. I'm just going to go through a couple of his accolades and kind of his journey to this point of being where he is in the NFL. Now, the first thing that I found out that I thought was interesting is that Aaron Rodgers wasn't considered to be that great of a quarterback coming out of high school. He wasn't recruited by a lot of the big name schools. So he ended up going to Butte Community College to play a year of community college football before getting a scholarship to play at the University of California, Berkeley, where he obviously developed his game and became a very, very interesting and talented quarterback prospect going into the 2005 NFL draft. And that's where things got really interesting, because if you're a diehard football fan and you watch a lot of these videos and you obviously read about these stories, Aaron Rodgers' journey to how he got to Green Bay is of itself, very emotional and very intriguing. One of the biggest debates going into the 2005 NFL draft was simply that who were the San Francisco 49ers, who had the number one overall pick, going to take as their franchise quarterback? They had a choice between obviously Aaron Rodgers and also University of Utah's quarterback, Alex Smith. And a lot of people, from what they've said to me, is that, the biggest difference between Aaron Rodgers and Alex Smith when they were doing their evaluation was that Aaron Rodgers was probably more NFL ready, but Alex Smith had the higher upside. And if he was developed correctly, could become a long-time NFL quarterback and possibly, a franchise quarterback. And I think, as you've seen from Alex Smith's career, at least part of that has been true. And, I think it is safe to say that the 49ers, felt confident in Alex Smith, and as a result, they took him with the number one overall pick. Aaron Rodgers, if you actually go back to the draft show, he was visibly upset. You found out later that the 49ers, in a way, but not really, kind of said that they were going to end up taking Aaron Rodgers, but they didn't. And then the question really became, well, when is Aaron Rodgers going to get picked? And he kept getting passed up after, passed up after passed up. And he kept constantly getting, ignored. And I think one of the reasons was because NFL contracts, particularly for rookie quarterbacks, were a lot different then than it is now. Now that they have the rookie contract, it's easier to draft a franchise quarterback while also having a pretty hefty paid quarterback on your roster as well. But back then it wasn't the case. So a lot of teams either didn't need a quarterback or didn't have the cap space to get a quarterback. And as a result, Aaron Rodgers kept dropping until you got to pick number 24. And the Green Bay Packers were there, and they basically said, look, we don't know how many more years we have left of Brett Favre, so let's get his successor now. And with the 24th pick in the 2005 NFL draft, the Green Bay Packers selected Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers, right from the get-go, was not necessarily well-liked by a lot of Green Bay Packer fans, and particularly Brett Favre, because a lot of people felt that, the Packers were giving up on Favre. Well, that ended up not really being the case, at least immediately. Aaron Rodgers sat the bench for the next 2-3 years while Brett Favre continued to play. Aaron Rodgers, from what, I heard, was slowly developing. And, there was that belief that eventually he would take over at some point. And finally, after the 2007-2008 season, Brett Favre, for the first time, decided to hang up the cleats, and Aaron Rodgers was implemented as the starting quarterback. Now, obviously, the story goes Brett Favre tried to come back. The Packers were not interested in bringing him back. They ended up trading him to the Jets, and Brett Favre ended up playing a couple more years. But Aaron Rodgers became the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, and he has not looked back since. And since Aaron Rodgers took over as the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, he has put up a huge amount of accolades. First of all, the most obvious one, leading the Green Bay Packers to beating the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 45. He also got Super Bowl MVP. He is a two-time NFL MVP in 2011 and 2014, two-time first-team All-Pro, second-team All-Pro. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, two-time NFL passer rating leader, and a bunch of other awards that, we could spend all hours going to. But he also actually has the highest passer rating of any quarterback in NFL history for a career, with 102.6 passer rating. That is impressive. And as of right now, actually, as of week 6 of the 2020 season, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 377 touchdowns and just 86 interceptions. So he hasn't even reached 100 career interceptions, thrown for just over 48,000 yards. So he is very close to reaching the 50,000-yard passing mark, which is a very, very, impressive job. He also has just over 3,000 rushing yards with 28 rushing TDs. So Aaron Rodgers, in many ways, actually brought in that new era of playing quarterback. Kind of that dual threat, a guy with a lot of mobility, a guy that can make plays on his feet as well as with his arm. And the reason that people want to argue that Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback talent is because you look at some of the years that Aaron Rodgers has been with the Packers, where they basically had very little to no talent around him, not the greatest offensive line, not the greatest defense to support him, but he put the team on his back and was able to lead the Packers to 10, 11 victories, maybe even a playoff victory. I think you just look at this past season, 2019-20 season, to be exact. You look at the fact that the Packers really didn't have that much talent. Yes, they did have Devontae Adams and a couple other guys that, gave him a good amount of support. But if you look at the team as a whole, it still felt like Aaron Rodgers was carrying the load for the Packers. And he continued to do so once the season actually began. And as a result of that, he actually led the Green Bay Packers all the way to the NFC Championship game. So he nearly took them back to the Super Bowl. And Aaron Rodgers, he's almost gotten back a couple times. He's gotten pretty close, but hasn't been able to get over the hump. And my argument all the time is that I feel that the Packers at times just don't do the right thing by Aaron Rodgers and building a really good team that he doesn't have to constantly carry the load. And obviously you saw in this past draft in 2020 when the Green Bay Packers selected late in the first round quarterback Jordan Love out of Utah State. And a lot of people felt that that was a slap in the face, disrespect to Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is not afraid at times to really show how upset he is and how frustrated he is with certain situations. And you look at the way he's been playing so far this year. I mean, he definitely is up there as a possible MVP. So this guy is making a case to try to go win his third NFL MVP. But the fact that this guy has been able to deal with several concussions and several different injuries that have put him out for a considerable amount of time, come back and still play at the same level that he's been able to play at is actually incredible. And you look at, you can even just look at this simple, statistic that I brought up just a few minutes ago. He's thrown 377 career touchdowns as of week 6 of this year's season and only 86 interceptions. His touchdown to interception ratio is phenomenal. This guy can make plays both with his arm and his feet. He's a bona fide leader, and he just continues to do things that, are just unbelievable. But the biggest thing that makes him a tremendous quarterback talent is that he makes everybody else around him better. He puts guys in the right position to succeed, and as a result, they go on and win games. A lot of people want to give credit to Matt LaFleur, who won over 10 games in his first year as the Packers head coach, and he's had a lot of success, even to some extent more than what Mike McCarthy did when Aaron Rodgers was there. But we do have to take into consideration that Aaron Rodgers is the biggest reason why Matt LaFleur has had so much success so far. Because the Packer defense is solid, but it's not great, and it will give up points. But Aaron Rodgers, especially playing pissed off, is a dangerous thing for NFL defenses. And he can just throw the ball with just a simple flick of the wrist that goes for 75, 80 yards. I've seen it countless times. He has great pocket presence. He has tremendous mobility to move out of the pocket to either try to go get some yardage on the ground or to throw it on the run and connect with somebody. This guy just makes plays after plays, but not recklessly either. He's smart with the football. He doesn't make very many mistakes. Obviously, this past week against the Tampa Bay Bucks, he really struggled, but it wasn't fully his fault. There was also just some other factors that Todd Bowles had a great game plan with his Bucks defense against Aaron Rodgers, and it kind of showed some of the flaws that the Packers have as a whole team. But nonetheless, I do feel that Aaron Rodgers is a tremendously gifted talent at the quarterback position. I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm saying he's one of the greatest quarterback talents, just as a talent itself at the quarterback position we have seen in NFL history. So Aaron Rodgers has done really just some tremendous things. He ranks number one in NFL history, minimum of 1,500 attempts in career passer rating, like I mentioned, 102.4, interception percentage, which is at an incredible 1.39%, and touchdown interception ratio, like I mentioned before, at 4.33. So clearly Aaron Rodgers has not only been good, he has been great. And he has been super consistent. And that's what's kept him around. And that's what's kept him at the high level that he's playing at. He's already, he's past his 30s, but he's continuing to play at such a high level and continue to do some great things and, constantly putting the Green Bay Packers on his back to making them a formidable team. And you look at the fact that the Packers are still undefeated and they are still having tremendous success. And most of it has to do with the tremendous talent that is Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position. So that's the evaluation of Aaron Rodgers from my perspective. And now we'll go over to arguably maybe the best quarterback overall in the NFL and right now, and certainly a lot of people would say is probably the new face of the NFL, and that is Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick Mahomes has had somewhat of a similar, rise to the top like Aaron Rodgers did. Maybe not as, frustrating, particularly draft-wise, but still, it wasn't a guarantee from a lot of people that Patrick Mahomes was going to be an NFL star. You start with the fact that Patrick Mahomes was a two-sport athlete in high school. He played baseball and he played football. Obviously, his father, Patrick Mahomes Sr., was a pitcher. He pitched for the Mets. Interestingly enough, there's a picture of Patrick Mahomes II out in center field at Shea Stadium, while his dad was warming up to play in the 2000 World Series. Just a little fun fact for you guys. But, Patrick Mahomes was a two-sport athlete, and a lot of people were not sure whether or not he wanted to play football full-time or play baseball. But in the end, Patrick Mahomes didn't get a lot of offers to play Division I football, and the biggest one that he got was Texas Tech. So he chose to accept the scholarship to play for Texas Tech. Now, he was also drafted in that same year, 2014, by the Detroit Tigers. But he decided that football was his passion and wanted to go do that. So he went to go play football at Texas Tech. And at first, he started as the backup to former New York Giants quarterback Davis Webb, and he eventually took over as the starting quarterback, and he had a lot of success. And one thing that we have to remember that I don't think a lot of people actually know is that his offensive coordinator at Texas Tech was Cliff Kingsbury. So that's something to keep in mind, because you're seeing what Cliff Kingsbury is doing with a guy like Kyler Murray. He was able to devise that offense early on with a quarterback talent like Patrick Mahomes. And as a result, Mahomes put up gaudy numbers in a pass-heavy conference that was the Big 12. And I think that was one of the knocks on Mahomes coming into the NFL draft, that a lot of people said, yeah, he puts up a lot of good numbers, but he's very much of a gambler. He throws a lot of passes off balance. He tries to make plays when he should just eat the ball, and he makes a lot of mistakes. And that's understandable. So going into the NFL draft, I think a lot of people said that Mahomes is going to be a franchise quarterback for somebody, but he's not going to play right away. And it may not be a full guarantee that he is going to become a great NFL quarterback. He might be a solid quarterback, but not a great quarterback. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, particularly head coach Andy Reid, really loved this kid and really believed in him. And as a result, they traded way up in the 2017 draft. They traded their pick to Buffalo, the pick that they had, which I think was 23rd or 24th at that point. They traded a second-round pick as well as their first-round pick next year to Buffalo to move up all the way to number 10 to select Patrick Mahomes with that pick. Now, when Mahomes came to Kansas City, the expectation was he was going to sit a year behind Alex Smith. So just like Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes comes in to be the successor to Alex Smith, which is kind of interesting how everything kind of comes full circle, so to speak. But the Chiefs played a year with Alex Smith. They made the playoffs. They didn't go very far. I think they lost in the wild card round to Tennessee that year. And then in the offseason, the Chiefs made the decision to trade for a pick or two to Alex Smith to Washington so that Patrick Mahomes would become the full-time starter. And Patrick Mahomes, right from the get-go, took the league by storm. Now, before I continue, obviously I do also understand the fact that, Patrick Mahomes has way more talent on different positions than Aaron Rodgers does. You have guys like Tyreek Hill. You had someone like a Kareem Hunt. You now have Edwards-Helaire. You have Travis Kelce. You have Sammy Watkins. You have a lot of talent on that offensive side of the ball. You also have a very solid defense as well, and you have a Hall of Fame head coach. So I get it. I get that Patrick Mahomes has had a lot more things set up for him. But again, as a quarterback, having all those tools and being put in the best position to succeed is tremendous, because then you get to see how really good somebody is, and you get to really see them develop and flourish the way that they're supposed to flourish. What has Patrick Mahomes done so far in his early career? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because in case you've been living under a rock and haven't been seeing this guy play, he won the MVP in his first full year as the starter. He wasn't they said he was technically a rookie, but he wasn't. It was his second year. He was he spent the whole year behind Alex Smith. He won, obviously, the MVP. He won NFL Offensive Player of the Year. He was a first-team All-Pro. He led the league in touchdown passes in 2018, won the Burt Bell Award. He also, won a bunch of other, smaller awards that are given out to players every now and then. And he led the Kansas City Chiefs all the way to the AFC Championship game, where unfortunately, due to some controversy, because it's true, the Chiefs lost to the New England Patriots in overtime, and the Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl that year. But going into last year, you knew that the expectations were much higher. You knew that the Chiefs at that point were saying, we have the team that can go all the way. Now we just have to execute it. And even though Patrick Mahomes statistically didn't have as gaudy of a season as he did the year before, the Chiefs still had a tremendous amount of success and were able to easily get into the playoffs. They ended up with the second seed in the AFC going into the postseason. And their journey to getting to the Super Bowl was very fascinating. You go to the divisional round against the Houston Texans, you're down 24-0, and all hope seemed lost. And it was just a shock that this offense, this lightning fast, at times it seemed like unbeatable offense that the Chiefs had, was all of a sudden getting stomped down by a very sturdy Houston Texans team. But the Chiefs were able to fight back, come all the way back to take the lead and go on to win that game to advance to the AFC Championship game. And they took on the surprisingly upstart Tennessee Titans in the AFC Championship game. And again, the Chiefs went down early, and some people were starting to wonder if that magic really did run out after the Houston game and that they were going to get knocked out for the second year in a row in the AFC title game at home. Well, Patrick Mahomes put the team on his back and continued to make some great plays, including that tremendous scramble to score a touchdown late in the first half to give the Chiefs the lead for good. And they ended up winning that game to advance to the Super Bowl, where they took on Jimmy Garoppolo, another young, talented quarterback in this league, and the San Francisco 49ers. And the San Francisco 49ers, they put up a good fight, but they were no match for the Kansas City Chiefs as the Chiefs won 31-20 to win the franchise's first Super Bowl since 1970 when they won Super Bowl IV to complete the last full season of AFL football. And Patrick Mahomes, not surprisingly, was named Super Bowl MVP. Then this past year, as I talked about on a previous episode of the Mofobo Network podcast, which you can check out on Anchor and Spotify, we talked about Patrick Mahomes' mega contract extension, which makes him the richest quarterback in NFL history, the richest NFL player in NFL history, and this guy certainly deserves it. So that's kind of some of the accolades and kind of the journey that Patrick Mahomes has had. And you look at his career statistics as of week 6 of this year, he has thrown 91 touchdowns and just 19 interceptions for 11,111 yards. His completion percentage is about 66%, and his passer rating is at 109.1. Now, those are the stats. Now let's talk about Patrick Mahomes, the player. This man has made so many plays that you have never seen before that really just blow your mind. First of all, he had a tremendous play on a Monday night in his rookie year, or his first year as a starter, his second year overall, against the Denver Broncos, where he was rolling out to his left and he threw the ball with his left hand and was able to complete a pass. That was tremendous. Another time was when the Chiefs were playing the Baltimore Ravens in the big matchup between Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, where Mahomes, who has done this several times, did a no-look pass that was right on the money. And it was just one of those things where, how is he able to see that when he's looking the other way? He's not even looking at the player. He's just looking dead at the defender to just throw him off so he could throw a nice pass going the other way. I've seen him make a couple other big plays. He's not the biggest scrambler. He's much more known for, his big arm, but he can scramble out of the pocket and make plays as well. He is a bona fide leader just like Aaron Rodgers, and the team rallies around him. He's the heart and soul of that Kansas City Chiefs team. But this guy just makes plays. I've seen him roll out to his left and throw off balance, going the other way, and just firing an absolute dime right to his receiver. I remember 2 weeks ago when the Chiefs were playing the Las Vegas Raiders. Right towards the end of the first half, Patrick Mahomes is rolling out to the left. He throws off balance with his right, throwing up his right hand. It's kind of a sidearm thing. And it looked like to me on TV that the defender for the Raiders was either going to knock it down or intercept it, but he missed it. And it went right to Travis Kelce, caught it, first down. And it was just one of those plays where it was just like, wow. They call it, Mahomes magic in Kansas City. And it really is because of how tremendous of an athlete and talent that this quarterback is. He makes plays that I have never seen a quarterback make. And not only does he make them, he makes them so accurately. I've seen him throw off balance, deep ball down the left side, and boom, it's just caught by somebody. So this guy has, in a way, almost redefined the quarterback position even more, that you can have some ability, but if you have a big arm and you're throwing the ball a certain way, especially if it's comfortable for you, you're going to have a lot of success. So Mahomes throws the ball a lot, kind of like a sidearm, like he's back playing baseball. And really throwing the football like that has done wonders for him because he's throwing tight spirals and it's going to only where the receiver can make plays. You don't see Mahomes make too many mistakes. You really don't. They have a very solid offensive line. The play calling is really good. They have a lot of talent around him. So it's all set up for him to have a lot of success. At the end of the day, though, he has to go out and make those plays. And that's exactly what he's done. And that's what's really impressive. So looking at Patrick Mahomes, you got to say that he's also a tremendous, one of the best quarterback talents overall we've seen in NFL history. So the last part of this whole discussion here, this whole debate, is simply for you guys to basically ask me, Neil, in your opinion, out of these two quarterbacks, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that want to talk about other guys, like Lamar Jackson, like Russell Wilson, like Kyler Murray maybe, guys like that. But I'm keeping it to these two guys because these two guys are not only two of the best quarterback talents in the NFL, but two of the best quarterbacks overall in the NFL today. But I'm sure you guys want to ask me, Neil, if you had to choose between one of these two guys, who are you going to go with? Well, this is a very, very tough situation to go with because you're looking at two quarterbacks who have had, somewhat similar careers, but Aaron Rodgers has obviously played a lot more than Patrick Mahomes. So he has a bigger track record of success, as just a quarterback than Patrick Mahomes does. So, it's very difficult to have a full evaluation because we don't know where the Chiefs are going to be in a couple of years. It could be very similar to Aaron Rodgers' situation in Green Bay where, basically Mahomes doesn't have a lot of, talent around him, but he's still making tremendous plays and still putting up great numbers because, he's just that great of a quarterback. We might not be able to have a full answer to this where everybody, accepts it until maybe another 4, 5, 6 years down the road. But I think right now, you were to ask me right now, I got to go with Aaron Rodgers. I have to because first of all, I'm a big proponent of, veterans, veteran experience, a guy who has had a track record of having not the world's greatest amount of talent because, again, as I mentioned before, Mahomes has way more talent overall than Aaron Rodgers does, in my opinion. Aaron Rodgers hasn't had a full, complete team since about 2011 when they went, 14-2, 15-1. But that was about the last time. So that's nearly a decade ago. For the last handful of years of Rodgers' career, he's had to basically put the team on his back and consistently make everybody else look good while he continues to be great and try to go win football games. So watching him play and watching him be able to put everybody in the best position to succeed and make everybody better around him just shows you how great of a talent Aaron Rodgers is. So it's a very, very close, close debate between these two, but I'm going to give it to Aaron Rodgers mainly because of he has a longer track record and he's proven that even without tremendous, top talent, he's still able to put up tremendous stats, win a lot of football games, and have a lot of success. That doesn't mean that my opinion won't change down the road. Patrick Mahomes could continue to do what he's doing, win a couple more Super Bowls, and really cement himself. But if, Mahomes continues to have this great talent around him, that's always going to be my knock on him. But, Patrick Mahomes right now is the best quarterback in the NFL. But as far as who is the best overall quarterback talent in the NFL, and in my opinion, NFL history, I got to go with A-Rod. He is just that tremendous. So let me know what you guys think as well, by, commenting down below on this video, your takes. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there somebody else that you would like to mention? And if so, just give me your full opinion down below. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Hey guys, it's your host, Neil Villapiano. Thank you guys so much for checking out this week's video here on Mofobo Network Presents. I greatly, greatly appreciate that you guys took some time to check this out. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like. Also subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos that we post every single Wednesday. And also just leave a comment and let me know what you guys think of the video and everything else like that. So please do that. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you want to check out more of this YouTube channel, like I said, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also make sure to subscribe to the Mofobo Network Facebook page, where there you can stay up to date with the new videos that we post. We also have a podcast for Mofobo Network. It's called Mofobo Network Podcast, where it's available on Anchor and Spotify. Just like here on Mofobo Network Presents, we post new episodes of the podcast every Tuesday and Thursday talking about the most up-to-date topics and content in the wide world of sports. So please go like and subscribe to that as well. You can stay up to date with the podcast just like Mofobo Network Presents as well on the Mofobo Network Facebook page. You can follow me on my personal Twitter at THENVPSHOW and also on my personal Instagram at NVPQB11. If you want to continue to check out great content that I put out, you can check me out as the host of the Devils State of Mind podcast, which is the New Jersey Devils hockey team-based podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network. On this podcast, in which we post new episodes every single Monday, I talk about all the news and notes and all exciting things happening with the New Jersey Devils, as well as hockey news in general. We have great guests that come on with some just great stories and so much fun. So please go check that out as well. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts. So SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, wherever. Just search Hockey Podcast Network or Devil State of Mind and you'll find it. please also go check out hockeypodcastnetwork.org, where there you can see all the team-based podcasts and just other great hockey podcasts that we have on this network. So if you're a hockey fan, or if you're not, or if you just want to learn more about the sport, please go check it out, hockeypodcastnetwork.org. We have a Twitter for the Devil's State of Mind podcast at Devil's State. We have an Instagram at Devil's State of Mind. And just like Mofobo, we have a Facebook page where there you can stay up to date with the new episodes of the podcast posted every single Monday. And also on all of those, there is a link to the Devil's State of Mind website, where also if you just bookmark it, you can see all the new episodes that we post. So please go check that out as well and support me on there. And last but certainly not least, go check out my book right now on Amazon.com as well as Barnes & Noble. It's titled JETS, Pain, Pain, Pain. It's about the pain and suffering of being a Jets fan for the Jets fan. And so, I mean, obviously you look at the fact that the Jets off to an 0-3 start, not really that great. But this book will certainly help you understand more about, why the team is the way that they are, why they've been this way for so long. We go through a lot of great painful stories, painful moments, painful player decisions, and everything else. So please go check that book out. If you're a Jets fan or a football fan, if you know someone who's one of those, or if you just want to support me, go check it out. It's available for hardcover and ebook for the price of $19.69. And if you're a Jets fan or a football fan, you probably guessed why I chose that price. So please go check it out on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Again, JETS, Pain, Pain, Pain. So thank you guys very much once again for checking out this edition of Mofobo Network Presents, and we will see you in the next video. And as I always say at the end of every single video, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what hardships you might be dealing with, just remember when you wake up in the morning to think positively, have a smile on your face, and kick some Mofobo. So thank you guys very much, and God bless.